Hey guys,
Yes.
it's Nia,
And Kara.
and today we're doing a book review of American Royals by Catherine McGee. Let's get into it. The plot of American Royals is an alternate historical fiction about the royal family of America. The book follows a couple of main characters: Princess Beatrice, the eldest child preparing to be the first queen leader; Princess Samantha, the spare that wreaks havoc and who only cares about one boy, a boy she can't have; and Prince Jefferson, Samantha's twin who gets tons of love and attention, especially from Samantha's best friend Nina, and the wannabe Princess Daphne. This book dives into the behind the scenes of what life would have looked like if America was a monarchy and all the drama accompanying this crazy lifestyle.
We give this book 5 stars. This is such a creative concept to touch upon, and the drama and romance made it even better. We love all the characters, minus a few, and that their differences made the book as good as it is. This book reminds us so much of the amazing show Gossip Girl. Beatrice would be Blair, Samantha would be Serena, Jefferson would be Eric, Daphne would be Georgina, Nina would probably be Vanessa, and Ethan would be Dan. Teddy would probably be Nate. Although this doesn't exactly match with the characters in the show, and the people in this book wouldn't couple up the way this was set up, each character has a Gossip Girl vibe to them, which made us love it even more. Connor is like the Aspen from the selection of this book, so we like that these characters have elements of our favorite things in it. We highly recommend this book and the sequel to this book, Majesty.
Now we'll be going on to our spoiler alert part, so if you want to stop here and read the book, we highly suggest that, but if you want to get spoiled, continue watching. Now we'll be going on to favorite characters. My favorite character is Nina. I can relate to her a lot in some ways. She doesn't really like to be in the spotlight and just can be by herself. In that way, she's very relatable at times. I also love Beatrice because she always had so much pressure on her and she made an alternate personality, and so people thought she was a bossy princess with no personality. But she really had a great personality, especially when she was with Connor. She actually got to show that she was fun and wasn't just boring. And that's one thing I liked about her being with Connor, but I didn't want her to be with Connor.
My favorite character was definitely Beatrice. I love her so much. She's one of those relatable characters that you feel for the entire time they go through problems, like Blair, of course. Beatrice had so much pressure on her with being the burden of the first queen leader. She had other people making decisions for her, and although I didn't love that she was trying to be with Connor, I felt bad that it was something she was trying to hide in order to maintain a good reputation and a good appearance, not only with the world but with her family and royal advisors. Although she had all this pressure, she accepted her job willingly. When she found out about her father's cancer, it added pressure on her to keep the secret and to just keep preparing for her to step to the throne. This book wouldn't have been the same without her, and she is the queen without actually being queen yet.
Now we'll be going on to favorite parts. My favorite part was when Samantha had that touching moment with her father when he said he wanted to give her a seat on the board, the Washington Trust. Because at that moment it was so nice, because during this book Samantha always felt like she was despair, and this moment you could see how happy she was. Because her dad, even though he knew he didn't really tell her how proud he was of her, he loved Samantha and wanted her to have a spot on the board, and this part was very wholesome and sweet because you saw a nice moment between them. Now we'll be reading my favorite part from the book. Her eyes drifted to the box. Can I help with any of that? Want to answer this for me? He offered and slid the envelope towards Sam. Am I signing it as you? You could, her dad said, or you could answer as yourself. I think the author of the letter would really love to hear from you. She nodded, the sun glinting on her hair as she bent over the paper. Love you, Dad. His Majesty smiled. Love you too, kiddo, so much. This part you really got to see the nice touching moment between the king and his daughter.
My favorite part was probably when Beatrice and Samantha had their touching moment. Samantha caught Beatrice crying, and from there it was so sad yet so sweet at the same time. They drifted apart because of different personalities and potentially values, but at the end of the day, they were sisters. That means so much more than anything else. I was really glad that at this part they got to talk to each other and understand each other better. Beatrice understood Sam's feelings for Teddy better and also got to finally let out the big secret, their dad's cancer. They hugged for the first time in forever, and although it was because of heartbreaking circumstances, it was extremely sweet too. They reminisced about the old days when they were younger, and they were reminded of the importance in each other's lives. Now I will be reading my favorite quote from the book. Then Beatrice was crying too, as the story spilled from her in a jumbled mess. Their father's fatal diagnosis, the reasons he had for keeping it to himself, and what he had asked Beatrice to do. Samantha set her mac and cheese aside with a jarring clatter and threw her arms fiercely around Beatrice. It was the first time they had hugged like this in years. Beatrice hadn't realized until this moment how much she'd missed her sister. And then I'm going to read a little further. I'm here for you, Bee, Sam told her, using the nickname for what must have been the first time in a decade. After all of this, I just want to make sure you're okay. Beatrice looked again at Samantha's glassy eyes, remembered the nervous way she walked into the kitchen earlier. What about you? She demanded. Are you okay? Not really. Sam looked down, her lashes casting shadows on her face. Nina and I had an awful fight. I didn't feel like I could really unload it on Jeff. It's kind of weird talking about Nina with him. Mom and Dad never listened to me anyway, and I couldn't talk to you. You can talk to me now, Beatrice assured her. No more secrets, no more misunderstandings. From here on out, we have each other's backs. Sam managed an uneven smile. I would like that. As Beatrice pulled Samantha in for another hug, the icy lump in her throat seemed to lessen, just a little. Whatever happened, at least now she had her sister on her side. This moment really encapsulated what was really important. Beatrice felt left out from Sam and Jeff, and Samantha felt left out being a younger sibling that didn't get any attention. But none of that mattered when they were finally able to connect for so long.
Now we'll be going on to least favorite characters. I usually somehow ending up liking the mean girl in certain books, but not at all in American Royals. I have to say I hated Daphne. I really like how Catherine McGee let us see what Daphne was thinking and why she was doing this, though. Let me say this, Daphne was mean, conniving, and rude, and honestly never loved Jeff. She only wanted him for the crown. The thing is, as well as her not loving Jeff at all, she drugged her best friend and did she not realize how her friend could have died and set her friend into a coma? How much better is that? No. Daphne has to be honestly psycho. I'm not one to call really mean people in books psycho, but she deserves to be called one. She drugged her best friend because she didn't want her to say anything about her cheating. This character really gives me Gossip Girl vibes. If you've read the books or watched the show, she's just like Georgina and only wanted anything for herself, and just wanted to make them all like her so in the end she could tear them all apart. And that's exactly what Daphne is doing. She only wanted all of this for the crown.
This should be no surprise, but my least favorite character is absolutely Daphne. Although I find it a smart move on Catherine McGee's part to include an antagonist perspective in a book, I still hate her. She has no feelings. She is numb and only cares about herself. If you drug your friend just to keep her from saying something about you, then you have obviously crossed that line. She got her friend in a coma. There was a part where we were in the past during the time of Daphne getting involved with Ethan, and she said that Jeff could never find out. They were dating at the time. And she actually knew that she didn't feel bad, and she only regretted that Hamari caught her. What was even sadder was that she drugged her friend just for that. To be honest, I actually loved Georgina from Gossip Girl, at least near the later seasons, near the end of the show, because she was a queen and brings an extra flavor. She actually wanted to be a part of the Gossip Girl squad so badly, but Daphne had no interest in actually being friends with these people, just to gain power and be recognized. It's sickening.
Now we'll be going on to least favorite parts. My least favorite part was the bathroom scene between Daphne and Nina. In this part, you really got to see Daphne's real character. She literally cornered Nina just to threaten her to break up with Jeff, and Nina just did what she wanted. Nina explained to Jeff, and he didn't even believe her. And now I'm going to be reading what Daphne said to Nina. Oh my, you love him, the other girl smirked. That really is too bad for you, because Jefferson is going to come to his senses and get rid of you soon enough. Until then, I'll be right there, making your life a living hell. Nina knew what a chilling certainty that Daphne meant every word. I'm going to tell everyone the truth about you, that you're a lying, manipulative. I'd love to see you try. Daphne cast her withering glance. Who do you think they'll believe? I'm America's sweetheart, and you're the gold-digging fame whore he rebounded to, before he eventually comes back to me. Nina opened her mouth to retaliate, but no words came out, because she knew, deep down, that it was true. America would take Daphne's side over hers. In this part, you really saw how, evil Daphne is.
My least favorite part was when Beatrice was in the middle of explaining to her dad why she should be with Connor, the one she loved. Then he started coughing and collapsed. Then he passed away at the end of the book. I have to admit, I didn't like the king during the book. When it comes to royalty, the kings always seem to be either too thirsty for power, too hard on their kids, or both, like King Clarkson from The Selection. He wasn't as bad as Clarkson, but he still put the most pressure on Beatrice. However, it was really sad that Beatrice had to deal with such a tragic loss and then blamed herself for rallying him up and making him angry that she wasn't thinking about the political loss that would have definitely happened if she ended up with Connor. It was especially a heartbreaking moment when it was just her and her dad in the hospital speaking to each other for the last time. And now I'm going to read that part. Dad, about last night, I'm so proud of you, Beatrice. You were incredibly smart and wise beyond your years. You didn't seem to have hurt her. Trust your judgment. It's sound. If someone tries to push you into something you have a bad feeling about, take another look at it. Don't be afraid to ask for help from your advisors or from your family. There is so much glamour, so much pomp and circumstance. Don't forget, his voice began to trail off, but he forced the last few words out as a whisper. Don't forget that it's your position being honored and not yourself. Beatrice held tighter to him as if she could keep him here through sheer force of will. Dad, I'm sorry. About Teddy, don't be afraid to push back against your opposition. It won't be easy for you, a young woman stepping into a job that most men will think they can do better. Harness some of that energy of yours, that stubbornness, and stick to your beliefs. He spoke carefully and slowly, each word underscored by a wheeze or a bit of a cough, but the words were certain. Beatrice had a sense that he'd memorized them, that he'd been lying there in his hospital bed, composing them in bits and snatches, in the moments he hovered near consciousness. Dad, she said in a faint voice, it's been the greatest honor of my life helping prepare you to take on this role. You're going to be a magnificent queen. Beatrice bit her lip to keep from crying. I love you, Dad. I love you too, Beatrice, he said heavily. About Connor and Teddy. His head tipped back against the sheets, his eyes fluttering shut, as if the effort to stay awake had been too much. Beatrice let out a single anguished sob. He didn't need to finish that sentence for her to know what he meant. It was so sad when he was giving a speech about how proud he was of her, which shows he wants the best for her and just believed that the best would be her in total control without the drama, especially because of the fact that she would be a woman in power. He was about to say something about Connor and Teddy and then passed. It was so sad. It was a good way to end the book, though, because it left us wanting more.
Overall, this book had so many different emotions, but at the same time, we loved the drama and it was so amazing. The tension was really high throughout the story, which gave it flavor. There were good amounts of happy and sad parts. We loved how we got to see so many different people's perspectives during this book, even Daphne's. We can't wait to do a book review of the second book, Majesty. This book is amazing, and we just want to thank Catherine McGee for writing such a great book. Thanks for watching, guys. We hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to comment down below some books we should read and review, and make sure to like and subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye!